Hello, it's Deacon Joseph Sweden. I had this episode scheduled because the last time I was on, there were people asking about starter texts for Orthodox apologetics. At first, I thought it was a good idea. I don't know if I can say that now. Uh, One of the earliest books that I found a long time back was a book called The Lost Books of the Bible. It was a Barnes& and Noble edition. And it contained in it the letters of Polycarp, Clement of Rome, and a number of other fathers. But the more I thought about it, the less real and the less honest such a discussion that I was planning could even happen. I came into the world of Orthodox apologetics at a time, uh, back in the late 90s, where a priest once contacted me and told me that the entire set of the Church Fathers, the Erdman series, could be found, the whole 38 volumes, for around $300. That set is worth $6,500 now, simply because of the nature of things. The internet and the price of print has changed. I believe that's my device, so y'all have to wait, or whoever's listening, which is, give me a moment, please. Okay. Anyway, so um, the simple reality is that when I started doing this back in 1997, um, there was a website, still exists today, called the CCEL, or the Christian Classics Ethereal Library. The simple reality is anyone asking for starter texts is looking for recommendations on books to build your big libraries. And I come from a time when the internet was new. It was a library. The concept of buying books is nothing but serving your own vanity. All of these texts are available free. It's just something I was like, maybe I should talk about books I recommend. I wasn't using books. I was using hypertext. And all of you are familiar with hypertext. And anyone asking, oh, are there starter texts on YouTube? You know, these texts are available. It's just people are too lazy to read them. Well, I don't have a Kindle Nook. Just stop making excuses. Do you think if you bought the library, all of a sudden you'd be reading all the books? You wouldn't. That's the truth. Um, so the simple reality is this was a stupid idea, and I'm calling it a stupid idea. And I'm sorry for wasting your time, because the truth is you can go to Tertullian.org, you can go to the CCEL and Church Fathers site, and you'll have literally thousands of pages of text to work with. And I think that people, showing off their libraries, are deceptive. I don't believe they've read most of the books that they own. Um, my library takes up probably about three shelves, small shelves, because I don't read that much when it's a book. The most in terms of books that I've read have been liturgically, because people freak out when they see me grab a tablet and start reading services. And that's just force of habit. So the simple reality is, as I said, you're not going to get any book recommendations from me. You can read everything, from Saint Maximus the Confessor to Saint John Chrysostom's commentaries on the Gospels and on the New Testament, and I recommend that in Saint Augustine's, which is what I was using when I started. But they were online. They were free. I didn't have to go buy a book, and none of you have to. You can even turn those books into a book. Like, you can order online books and put the PDF on a site and make them into books and pick them up if you're that desperate to have it in print. But I don't think anyone here is that desperate to have it in print. I think people are just desperate to have it on their shelf so that they can, say, "Hey, I have read this author." Have you? Do you know what it means? Or are you going to interpose your own ideas, your own thoughts? We're not supposed to read the fathers with our own thoughts. We're supposed to learn their thoughts. And I think that's part of the reason why I'm just gonna quit this thing while I wouldn't even say I'm ahead. Um, but I am tired. I'm tired of hearing how people have these ridiculous and stupid academic debates. We should be debating heresy, not each other. And it's boring. It's boring. Scholasticism is boring. All of that overly philosophical, non-patristic garbage is boring. And yes, I do realize the fathers used logic and rhetoric, and that's pretty much as far as they went. The rest was illumination. I'm just, I have no interest in this. What things are becoming. I don't think that we should have polite discussions with people who believe in beheading us. I don't think that we should be uh, leaving these as open questions. So when it comes down to the question, and again, I'm going to hammer this a million times, of what starter texts we should have so that we can have a great library. You don't deserve a great library. I don't have a great library. I don't deserve one. I don't want one. I grew up in a time where you had to go to the library, but none of you have. You're literally children of a time period where you can get all this information for free and you're looking for ways to make it more expensive so it feels like it's yours. Make it yours by believing in it. Make it yours by becoming more orthodox in your thought. Just tired. This is not um this is not the way Orthodox apologists should think. You should think on your feet. You should have the fathers handy, and everyone has the fathers handy on their phone. Literally, you could download. I mentioned the Katana app. It's far from complete, but you'd still be in a better position than I was in 1997, back when books were quote unquote expensive. It blows my mind. And if I've been sounding increasingly disappointed over the last few shows. And by the way, this is going to probably be the second to last show. I probably will not be doing psychology. Just because the more I think about this, the more disappointed I get at the concept. It means that after 3, 4 years of working on this, people still can't look things up by themselves. Um, Maybe I missed out. Maybe I failed. Because the entire idea was that the fathers were accessible, and they were accessible to me 20 years ago, 24 years ago. And now all of a sudden, which books should I buy from Amazon? Really? Is that your takeaway? Did you think that me and Bishop Enoch found these books, in our libraries, our big dusty libraries? We didn't. They're on the internet. So are sacred manuscripts of the scriptures and the Holy Fathers. They're all on the internet. You do not need an expensive book. What you need is the illumination of grace. Go to church, get saved, and do your thing. Maybe that's why I'm disappointed. After 3.5 years and stupid fights with grifters, this is where we are. A bunch of people still asking, where's the answer? The answer's been in front of you the whole time. Stop watching cat videos. This is two from the end.